Hey guys, so it's cake day. I already have everything set up. I have my buttercream, I have my cake rounds that are a 9-inch and an 8-inch sphere. I have my cake board. And then after I assemble the cake, I'll come back and I'll show you how to do the fondant. So one of the things I do want to point out is my heating rod. I did not use this when I did my 6-inch spheres, and it does really make a difference. The 8-inch round, totally, I did not want it to overbake and get like black on top, so it definitely worked, and it cooked all the way through without getting dry inside. So I did want to fill these. That's why I normally don't cut them, but because it's an 8-inch sphere, I don't like having a giant piece of cake without any icing. So, and I'm going to carve this down anyway. So I have everything set up. All right, so I have filled my cake with my salted caramel buttercream, and I have crumb coated it. And so now I'm going to chill it for like 20 minutes for the buttercream to kind of get hard, and then do one more layer so the fondant goes on really smooth. It's really the key to get smooth fondant work. A few things: always save your scraps. You never know that you might need it. It's great for fixing little things, adding things here and there. Again, I like buttercream because it hardens and you can fix a lot of mistakes. So it's really the best to use for me because it's structurally sound, and it helps to hold the cake together really well. So come back and we will re-ice, and we'll get started on our fondant work and clean up all these cake pieces. All right, so I have done my second crumb coat for my full coverage, and I am right now, what's great about buttercream also is why it's just awesome to use, is that it hardens so well, as I've said. But if you take some cold water, especially this works for domes, just some cold water, and you run it over those like little lines, because they will show in the fondant. It's great. You take cold water in your finger, and I've had every single one of my spheres turn out perfect with using this method. And it'll dry and it sticks to the fondant. It just smooths out any imperfections. Like you can see there, I mean, I still have a ways to go. I just like it to be perfect because then you have less to worry about when you put the fondant on. As you've seen, I have cleaned up all of my cake because even though you think that there's no crumbs, the crumbs all of a sudden find your fondant, and then you're picking out like a million little crumbs out of your fondant, which is not ideal and frustrating. So make sure you clean your counters, get all the cake out of here, save the scraps, the big scraps, and just make sure you're crumb free. I still see one there, so I didn't do a good job. So I will clean all this up and put it back in the fridge and start coloring my fondant and rolling it out, and then I'll come back and it should be somewhat on there. All right. So as you can see, I am well on my way. I laid out the fondant over top. I did the fondant on the back and the sides. I love cardboard. I use it a lot to make everything even. If I have a lot of pieces that need to be even, it's not going to be perfect. The alignment is not going to be perfect. It's not a perfect circle either because I shaved down the sides. Because it's supposed to be a elongated helmet. So I have his name on the back, which I cut out and left out a little bit because when you cut with the fondant cutters, sometimes it doesn't cut all the way through and it leaves like a little fuzzy edge, and on black you're gonna see it when you're using white lettering. So I made sure the letters were nice and stiff, and then I went over it again with an X-Acto knife, which I can't find it currently. But I use an X-Acto knife, and I just made cleaner lines so it's nice and crisp. So now, oh, and by the way, this is like my favorite tool for dusting my confectioner sugar because it just does a nice even coat. So I'm going to do the work on here. There's some embroidery on here, and then put on the other pieces, and we'll be back. All right, guys, total, I think this took me 9 hours with this piece, and this piece, and then another 5 hours to actually build the cake. This ended up being too big, so Mommy had some fun and cut it down with a knife. It works. I was afraid of sugar work, but I figure it out. Again, this is all trial and error. That's how I do my cakes. So I'm really proud of this, I must say, and toot my own horn because I'm really proud of this. So in a fireman style, I made it. So here's the cake. We have the glass sugar piece, the fondant, and this fondant piece that I did before. And then on the back, we have his name, and then there was some scroll work. I don't know if you can see it, but there's some scroll work on the back of the actual helmet that I actually was able to use some of my my fondant silicone molds to replicate it. It looks a lot better than what I was going to do, which was draw it, and that wouldn't have been good. So I am very proud of this. So I hope he enjoys it. It's a yellow cake with salted caramel buttercream, and then I added some chocolate covered pretzels in the center for a little crunch because I like a little crunch in the cake. So hope you guys like it, and let me know if you have any questions.